We are covering life estates for the national portion of the real estate exam. A life estate is a form of freehold estate where ownership is limited to the duration of a specific person's life. On your exam, the most important figure is the life tenant. This is the individual who has the right to possess and use the property. One common exam question focuses on what a life tenant can and cannot do. A life tenant has the right to all income produced by the property and the right to live there, but they are strictly prohibited from committing waste. Waste is a legal term you will see frequently, and it refers to any action or neglect that causes permanent damage to the property or diminishes its value for the person who will own it next. For example, if a life tenant cuts down all the valuable timber on the land or fails to pay the property taxes leading to a tax lien, they have committed waste. This is a major exam point because the future owner can actually sue the life tenant to stop this behavior. Another area where students often get tripped up is the distinction between a reversionary interest and a remainder interest. If the person who created the life estate, known as the grantor, decides that the property should come back to them or their heirs after the life tenant dies, this is a reversion. However, if the grantor designates a third party to receive the property, that third party is called a remainderman. You must be able to identify these parties in a story problem. A life estate per autre is another high-probability exam topic. This translates to for the life of another. In this scenario, the life tenant's ownership is not based on their own life, but on the life of a third party. For instance, if a grantor gives a house to a caregiver for as long as the grantor's disabled brother remains alive, the caregiver is the life tenant and the brother is the measuring life. The moment the brother passes away, the caregiver's interest ends. A great mnemonic to remember the consequences of damaging a life estate property is life is limited, waste is wronged. This phrase reminds you that while the life tenant has rights, they are not absolute and must preserve the property for the future. On the exam, look out for trick wording regarding the sale of a life estate. A life tenant can sell their interest, but they can only sell what they have. The buyer would only own the property until the original measuring life ends. This is often called a life estate per autre once it is sold. Finally, remember that a standard life estate cannot be willed to heirs because the interest terminates exactly at the moment of death. The property then moves automatically to either the remainderman or the grantor through reversion. Focus on these specific definitions and the concept of future interests to ensure you pick the correct answer on test day. Many candidates confuse the measuring life with the tenant, so always identify who must die for the estate to end before answering. If the exam mentions a third party's life determining the length, immediately look for the term per autre in the options. Understanding that the life tenant is essentially a steward for the future owner will help you logically deduce the correct answers regarding maintenance, taxes, and property use. Trust your knowledge of these definitions and you will navigate the life estate questions with ease.